Now, I'm going to ask you a question that we get asked a lot, and I know it's going to set you off on one. This is the question. People have asked us if they should cut their ivy down in winter, especially the ivy, here it is, especially if it's overgrown. Now, he is very passionate about this, Chris, and so I almost feel like I should give you a soapbox. You should stand on it and off you go.
It's safer if you just stand back.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
no,
No,
no.
no.
Please leave ivy alone. It is enormously beneficial to wildlife and to people too. I'll explain why. Firstly, it flowers very late in the season, a late nectar source for all of those insects that require it, hornets, wasps, and all of those butterflies which are going to overwinter as adults. And then those flowers mature into berries. They are full of fat. They are perfect food for all sorts of birds, particularly the winter visitors that come here. So all of those thrushes, our native species, things like mistle thrushes and song thrushes, but also redwings and fieldfares that come too. Wood pigeons in particular love those berries. And then there's the holly itself, all of the leaves forming that evergreen, dense thicket. It's shelter. It's perfect for roosting. It's perfect for nesting. Birds, bats, insects, you name it, will take advantage of ivy, and particularly in the winter time. Just look at it here. It's on this tree. It's doing its job. Now, the other thing is people say, well, it damages walls. It doesn't. It actually insulates them. And so, therefore, they're kept warm and you don't get that frost damage. And very often when people remove ivy from old walls, the water gets in, the frost gets in, they crack and fall down.
In urban, I mean, I think you've made your point, but also in urban areas, they help to purify the air from pollutants, and they're evergreen, so they've got so many uses. But have you ever wondered how they manage to climb vertically up trees and up walls and up fences, and also how they manage to stay attached? Well, first of all, a vine is a root, so it's got roots in the ground, and then they manage to go up the tree and it gets closer to the light. And how does it do that? Well, it's got specialised roots that sprout from the ivy's stem. They're called adventitious rootlets or aerial rootlets, and they spread out along the underside of the stem until they reach the surface. And they can go to about 1 millimetre to 15 millimetres long, and their sole purpose is to attach. So you can see them on here, can't you, Chris?
Yes, you can. Look, here we are. Those are those adventitious roots there. But it doesn't stop there, because on those roots are microscopic single cells, which are root hair cells. And what they do, they're about 0.4 of a millimetre long, is they find any tiny little crevice that they can creep into. And they do so, I've got a diagram here, as a rounded cylinder. So they push into that crevice and they're turgid at that point. But then, of course, they begin to dry out. And as those tiny little single cells dry out like that, they buckle up. And this creasing means that they infill all of the irregularities of the crevice like that, and that further bonds those cells and the adventitious roots into any substrate that it's growing on.
That's so cool, isn't it?
It doesn't stop there.
Certainly doesn't.
Ivy, so good. 130 years ago, the venerable Darwin found out that ivy also produces a runny yellow glue. Yes, those cells excrete a glue into those crevices to make sure that they adhere to it. Now, basically, I've got a demonstration here of the glue. It's liquid, very runny, as I say, to start with. Can you stir that, Michaela?
I can indeed.
And it's full of sugary protein balls, nanoballs, about 70 nanometers in diameter. And as I say, essentially to start with, it's very fluid. As it dries out, calcium excites an electrostatic binding. I love electrostatic binding. I don't know about you, but and what happens is
when it admired it.
Okay, stop stirring. Okay. When all of the liquid has evaporated away, they congeal together thanks to the calcium and the electrostatic binding, and they form a very hard, tough glue. That, folks, is why it's so difficult for you to try and peel ivy off of everything. You've got the adventitious roots. you've got those single cells that have lodged into those crevices, and then they've glued themselves in there using nanoballs. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a remarkable plant. Brilliant for wildlife, brilliant biology, and top for people too.
Respect the ivy, basically. Shall I take that soapbox away now? I think you've made your point. Don't cut it down in the winter.
And it doesn't kill trees. It doesn't take any nutrients from the tree. It's rooted down here. That's where it's getting all its nutrients from. It is merely using the tree as a means of climbing into the sky where it can successfully photosynthesize.
I feel it needs a hug.
Oh, can I be president of the Ivy Society?
I don't know whether you need a hug or just the tree with the ivy on.